Good afternoon, Phil Williams here with you on 5 Live. The British National Party's been told to change its membership rules so that non-white people can be allowed to join. The BNP had been taken to court by the Equality and Human Rights Commission for alleged racial discrimination. Now the BNP's leader, Nick Griffin, has agreed to ask his party to change their rules. Simon Darby is deputy leader of the BNP and can talk to us now. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Were you in court today?
No, I wasn't. I obviously have heard the judgment, and it's really quite profound, to be honest. It's not just about us, obviously. The whole concept of things that should be decided in the electoral process being now part of the legal sphere is quite frightening, really. What's
frightening about it?
Well, as I say, surely it should be up to the public to decide what is acceptable and what is good or bad in a political party. Otherwise, they don't vote for it. It shouldn't be up, for instance, for the Labour Party to give the nod to government quango, the ECHR, with unlimited funds, to force us into court to change the way we think.
Well, this isn't about a dispute over policy, though, is it? This is a dispute about the law. This is the Race Relations Act, which the court ruled that you've broken with your constitution. That's a legal matter.
The court didn't rule that, actually. I'll tell you exactly what did happen. We were forced into a corner by the ECHR. I'll repeat again, they do have unlimited funds. We, unfortunately, do not have unlimited funds. And the consequences were that we did believe we had a case to argue. We were advised that there was an exception under the Race Relations Act for organisations like ourselves. However, fighting that case, even if we'd have won, would have involved expenditure in excess of £1 million. Now, in anybody's terminology, that's a lot of money.
But if you'd have won, you could have applied for your costs, couldn't you?
Well, it doesn't necessarily work like that. We've probably got the best legal system in the world, but even so, it's fundamentally flawed in a way that sometimes, if you can't afford the justice, you do not get the justice. Now, at this particular point, just before a general election, we decided that gambling away that kind of money, or potentially that kind of money, was not a particularly good idea in a fight, ostensibly, that we were never going to win.
Why'd you say, if you're so sure of your constitution as it stands, Simon, why'd you say it would be a gamble?
Well, you never know what's going to happen in a court. There have been perverse judgments and whatever. Even our own costs, in this case now, are substantial. They run into tens upon tens of thousands of pounds. A full trial would have been, well, it would have put the party in a position where it could have been annihilated or bankrupted, which is not a position you want to be in. Certainly you have to have the judgment sometimes in the sense to step away from a fight that you simply can't win. However, we've accepted, we've given an obligation to the judge that we are going to freeze party membership for new members for 3 months, and we will endeavour to change the constitution to comply with the agreement that we've gone into today.
I know this has only happened this morning, but have you any thoughts on how you might amend your constitution to take into account this?
Well, it could all be superseded by the new Equalities Bill, which is coming in. One of our arguments is that this new bill that would make, for instance, a party like ourselves illegal. It's rather a strange thing that a government can customise the statute books in order to keep itself in power, but that's what Labour are up to. Once this act comes in, we'd have had to have changed the constitution in any case, otherwise we'd have been an illegal organisation.
So, obviously, plans are already afoot to change your constitution. How are you going to reword it so that it's more inclusive?
Well, we're going to have to go to the drawing board and to see exactly what our members are likely to vote for. The thing here as well, whilst looking at the technicality of the judgment itself, or not the judgment, the actual hearing, the outcome of the hearing today, is that it basically implies that Indigenous people like myself aren't allowed to organise politically. I put it to you that if this was an Australian broadcasting corporation or the radio show on there, and I was an Aboriginal, an Australian Aboriginal, being told that he was forbidden to organise politically and he was forbidden an identity, it would be a somewhat different matter, wouldn't it?
Well, the law states on the Race Relations Act, section on 25, that's the part of the law that is deemed to have been broken by your constitution as it stands at the moment. So you've agreed in court to make all reasonable endeavours to revise your constitution. Will you accept non-white members now?
That's up for the members to decide. It's not in my power or even in Nick Griffin's power to decide that. That's up to our members to decide.
What about your personal view as deputy leader of the party? Would you welcome non-white members?
Well, my personal opinions don't really matter in my capacity as a press spokesman for the party.
As
However,
deputy leader, no, Simon, as deputy leader they do. I mean, we hear from deputy leaders of other political parties all the time with their opinions.
Well,
what's yours?
Let's put it like this. There are some in the party who feel that a small number of well-meaning ethnic minority people within the party would help to take away some of the stigma and some of the bad publicity that we continually get. Now that, as the old saying goes, be very careful what you wish for.
So you wouldn't like that, or you would like that?
Well, I've given you my opinion as to the political implications of what's happening, but you've got to bear in mind what this is actually saying is that it is airbrushing out the concept of indigenous Britons like myself. Would it happen in North America, for instance, to the Red Indians there? Or, for instance, if there was a rule in Pakistan to say that Pakistani people had no right to their identity and to their homeland, whether or not it would be treated in such a triumphal manner, I don't think it would. I'll put it to you that it's merely because I'm white, and indigenous people in this country are white, that it's being treated in a way like this.
Well, that's a matter for the law, and if you're not happy with the law, then you can do what other people do when they're not happy with the law and campaign against it. As for this particular issue now relating to your party...
You misunderstand. If we're not happy with the law in this particular case, our option was to fight this hearing, to fight this actual case. Fighting the case would have been an annihilation of this party. We would have been
on financial grounds.
On financial grounds. That's the reality. I mean, this is bully boy tactics. The reality is we were going to be asked to enter a fight that we simply couldn't have won. Now, we want to fight as many constituencies in the general election as we possibly can next year. We've got a target of fighting them all if we can. Just the deposits for those constituencies is £300,000. Now, when the members ask me what would they rather do, throw £300,000 away on a court case or put that kind of money in to fighting every single constituency in the country, it makes you think, doesn't it?
So you now need to come up with a constitution, put it to your members, and then do they vote to approve it? Is that how it works?
Yes. Yeah.
And what will you do if they disapprove? What will you do then?
Well,
will you have to reword it?
Isn't it? The practicalities are we have to find a meeting place big enough to have all our members there, or the large number of members who would be there. You'll notice at the moment that the far left Labour supporters are currently planning to blockade BBC's television centre because one of our MEPs is appearing on Question Time. So there's another question. Will we have the facility to actually have this meeting? Will that be sabotaged by the far left? Will they be ringing up the conference hall owners and threatening them with all kinds of nonsense if they go ahead with letting us use it? There's all kinds of implications here.
Simon Darby, thank you very much indeed. Deputy Leader of the BNP. 1:55.